Hello and welcome to Midweek Gaming. Back once again on a lovely Wednesday. It's been raining, sunny all day. Really patchy rain. It's a bit, temperamental.
Just so you know, here in Houston, we're getting the England weather, and I'm tired of this shit. Okay.
No,
You get used
fair
to it.
enough. Yeah.
Stubbs, you had thunder
So,
today?
thunder?
Yeah.
No, I had none.
You had loads of thunder with that. Yeah.
We had it here last night. Now it's gray and rainy and drizzly. Yeah.
Oh, yes. It looks like Britain then. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. But anyway, if you want to get yourself a nice gamer picture or logo or anything related to graphic work done from the graphic goal, please go to www.exportsgamerpics.com. And if you want to check out a great gaming website, independent one, please check out I'll try that again. www.bg4ghub.com. Right, this is something new. This was created by Removable Sanity. Midweek Gaming, the only show you can get a trucker, an exterminator, a Japanese culture specialist, an IT specialist, and a legend who has Phil Spencer on speed dial in one place.
It's a good one.
Yes, Removable mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
But yes, he's having about a month off. I mean, he is because he's had a new baby born, and congratulations to Removable.
And right now he still thinks it is.
We
I
will.
mean,
He's come out bored with
Yeah,
it.
he's having a bit of a break. He is.
yeah.
He is.
Well, not
VJ
really,
Sportage,
because that poor boy ain't sleeping. Okay, I'm telling
Oh
you.
no, he ain't. No, he said that. VJ wasn't sure if I was joking when I told him.
Yeah.
But he's having a little break. He is.
Don't
But
blame
we
him.
actually have a special guest this week. Welcome to Goat Force Gaming. Thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
on.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having me. Good to be back with you guys again. It's always a good time.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it, since you've been on this one?
I think so. Yeah, I think last time was sometime last year, if
It was
I'm
quite
remembering
early on.
right. Yeah,
It might have even been before I was on the. It might have been before I was on the show.
I think it was, Paul.
might
Yeah,
have
things
been,
are things are much fancier now. You've got a regular cast of characters, so yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, it's good. Have you been playing many games?
Yeah, I've had some time to play some games. I've been going through Resident Evil Village and loving that game. I don't know how many of you guys have gotten around to that one yet, but I didn't love the previous Resident Evil, and this one I'm enjoying it a lot more. It's like a combination of number 4 and number 7. So I'm probably, I don't know, 85, 90% of the way through now. Just having a ball with it. Good jump scares here and there. And then Rogue Legacy 2, which is still in early access, they just rolled out a big update yesterday, their Drifting Worlds content. So I've been going through that as well. 2 new character classes. That's been fun. Playing another game called Legend of Keepers. It's a roguelite dungeon builder. The developer was nice enough to gift me a key for that game to play on the channel. And so I've been live streaming that one and taking a look at it. That's been fun. Some Darkest Dungeon vibes and Eratus vibes, if you guys are familiar with those games. So it's been good. Eating a lot of skirt steak. A lot of skirt steak.
Oh,
and,
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I'm
Oh
jealous.
my God. Let me tell you, there's ribeyes, there's T-bones. A lot of people go for the ribeye. Skirt steak has such good beefy flavor.
that?
Listen, I'm telling you, it's got a chew to it, right? So it's not going to just melt in your mouth. But that chew is part of the adventure to delicious. Well,
That's called Bristol, but whatever.
Hey,
I have never heard of that term.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. You got to familiarize yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Call
Other
it
than
something
that,
else here.
yeah. Okay. That's about it. Just trying to get games in when I can. Work has gotten busier. The market is on fire. A lot of people changing jobs because their employers are starting to say, hey, don't get used to being at home. We're calling you all back. And now all of them are saying, hey, I don't really want that commute back. So a lot of people moving around, and that's making it extra busy. But that's it for me.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've been very busy. Congratulations on getting a review code from a developer.
Yeah.
As I know, because you messaged me saying that you made a nicely worded email, and hopefully you got it. And I said to you, you'll get it. And you're like, nah, I won't get it.
Hey, you know what?
You've done it.
I'll tell you what. I took some recommendations and advice from an old Stubbs cast that you did with Removable.
Oh, he knows what
when he talked about that. Remember?
Yes.
And I baked in some of that advice, and it worked. He was right. So that's to his credit.
It is. He does know. He actually gets a lot of review codes. He doesn't do. Yeah. He does as many as he can, but he normally gets a review code.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at how quickly they responded, and that they responded favorably. So yeah, that was super exciting, and the game's great too. So it's really enjoyable to play.
That's good to hear. That is. Yep. So welcome back, Mr. Tushi.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Glad to be here again. And I finally fixed my coving up there. So there was a big hole. Where we there's a hole in this coving where we parroted it. So.
Oh yeah, remember now. Yeah, there was. Anyway. Have you been playing anything apart from Mass Effect?
Nope.
So that's a good thing, really. It shows that you're enjoying the game that you bought, which is good.
I can't believe I've slept on this. The problem is that I own them on the 360 downloads. I own them all, but I never got around to playing them. But in a sense, I'm glad I've waited for this Legendary Edition. Though it's beautiful. I completed the first one 2 days ago. I think it was, or yesterday.
Oh, that's good then. You like it, yeah?
Yep, absolutely love the first one. All I can say is the only game that's given me this feeling, the same as when I first played Halo Combat Evolved the first time. That amazing feeling, that gameplay feeling. That's what Mass Effect gave me playing it.
That's good then. That's good feedback. That really is.
But I've started playing the second one, and it's 10 times better than the first. All I can say, it's brilliant, absolutely amazing.
I have seen on the Twitters people banging on about how great the number 2 is, and it's the best spawn. I wouldn't know. I've not played any of them. I can't comment on that. So I'm like you, but I don't own them. But then either.
You've never played any of them?
No, I never played Mass Effect.
Oh, it's worth checking out, Stubbs.
Yeah, you'll like it. It's good fun.
I'll try and get it at some point. I will. I got too many games to play at the minute. Yakuzas.
All I can say is today, I got in from work really early, and I had enough time to play about 8 hours of Mass Effect before coming on here. And
really? Wow.
I sat on the sofa. I created that Discord thing, and I fell asleep.
And you fell asleep. Yes. Oh, that's the kind of thing I do.
So I've kind of wasted 6 hours today.
Oh, you could have. Yes, you're all right there. But anyway, hello, Cerebral Paul. I'm glad you could join us again. Yeah. I will avoid the question I've been asking everyone else. You been playing many games?
Mostly, thanks to a Nuke Nukem, I've been playing Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, as a matter of fact.
Thanks. Did he recommend it or did he gift you it?
He gifted it to me.
Wow.
Wow, no, that's nice of him.
Because he knows I'm in an awkward situation here and really can't afford extra stuff. So
No, you can't. It's a terrible situation, that is.
Yep.
You know.
so yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm in the midst of part 1, remembering. Oh yeah, I remember I hated this part about this game. But for the most part, I am enjoying it again. I literally have not played any of these games since they launched long time ago. So even though I'm remembering bits and pieces, I'm not. It's not like I just played it yesterday. I actually avoided going back and playing the 360 versions when they hit the past because I knew this was coming. So it's like enjoying it all over again, going, oh yeah, this part was cool. And
So,
I don't even remember.
Have they
what it used to
removed?
look like.
So I presume they've cleaned up all the old. If there was old bugs, they're gone. I presume.
Yeah.
I presume that.
Yeah, and they've improved the driving of the Mako, thank God. But it's still kind of weird. Still, I still don't like the way it drives.
It reminds me of
Okay.
the Warthog. The way it
Yeah.
goes.
Which I'm really bad at too. So, and I've also been playing Assassin's Creed, and I don't know if anybody looked at my tweet, but basically, I lost 135 hours in Assassin's Creed.
No.
A glitch.
Wow.
I cannot complete one of the primary quests, so I had to go back to
Wow.
before that quest line ever started. So I lost 135 hours of playtime, and I had to
No.
go all the way
Oh
back.
my god!
Oh.
Yeah. And I was
Which-
able to salvage because I have my old saves from previously. So I was able to salvage about 36 hours of playtime. So I didn't have to redo the whole thing, but I may as well be redoing the whole thing. Because, you know, those games where they start you off at the beginning of the game. I think one of the one of the Star Wars games started, you go in as big bad Darth Vader kicking everybody's ass and it's easy. Then they send you back to being a Padawan and you have to start over again. That's what this feels like. I'm getting my butt kicked by things that, like, before I had to go back would have been easy. Now it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I can't do this now because I'm not that strong. So now I have to start all over again.
Oh, that's harsh. That is. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
So,
hours.
but I do want to do it. It's just it can be numbing sometimes. Going, oh God, not this quest again. Because I hated it the first time. I'm gonna hate it this time. Other than that, those are the two games I've been primarily playing. Especially since I don't know. Last time I was on the show, was it before or after my Xbox went tits up? So yeah, my Series X also needs to be repaired. If I wasn't having enough problems. The HDMI port on my Series X is no functional, so I have to send it in to be repaired. So yeah.
Well,
what a fun couple of weeks I've had.
Why can't you, when you chat with your main man, go, come on, sort it out. Come on, send me in.
Well, what sucks is the site. I actually have to remember to call them during the day because I can't do it through the site to send in and so I can print out the mailing label and send it in. I have to actually call them because it's not working correctly. Every time I try to get it to that point, the site says nope. I'm like, oh man. So it's one more thing I got to deal with.
Oh no, it's not what you need. You're not having a good time at the minute, are you?
No. To say just that these podcasts doing this and like jumping in on Fight Night Sundays with K Mega and Retro Renegades with those guys yesterday. I have to do that just to keep laughing and having a good time, or else I'd be like banging my head against a wall, sitting in a dark room going, "Oh, screw this." So this part is keeping me, from going into that dark place and going, this is just kicking the nuts,
Oh, it's good to hear though.
Yep.
It's just keeping you more as positive as you can be. Anyway.
Yep.
It is.
What's it like?
Well,
what?
So just ask a quick question. What's the aftercare, the sales care like for the for getting your Series X repaired? Is it a good service?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what he's asking.
For the what do you call it?
He's asking about the
after
customer
service
service
process.
experience.
Oh,
The process
what
for getting
it
repaired.
is the website, usually you can log in, you can request service, and it tells you want to, and it will, in the end, it's supposed to let you print a mailing label, and then you put the mailing label or the UPS label and send it. Well, every time I get to the point where I'm trying to get the finalize and get the UPS numbers and all that, it kicks out. So I actually have to physically call them and go through that with a person. And I'm hoping if I do that during the day, it'll be a person that's easier to, no offense to those that aren't, that's easier to understand what I'm trying to do so I can get through it quickly, which is why I prefer to do stuff online so I don't have to talk to people on the phone. Because I don't want to go through, did you try plugging and unplug? Yes, I did all that. I mean,
they always do that.
I've been a tech for 40 years. I know how to do all that, I've done everything I can do. I've checked cables and everything else, and it just, and the same cable right now. I have my old 1X hooked up, and let me just tell you, if you've been one of those people who's had to go back from a Series X to a 1X, you can feel my pain because oh my goodness, you noticed a difference real quick. And I'm not talking about the graphics and all that. That's fine because I can still do 4K, and in many cases, the 60 frames per second, whatever. What I can't deal with is the load times. Oh my god! When I had to first do the system update, it choked the first time, and even after it was done, it was bogging down the system. But it took me over 3 hours to get the system update up and running properly. So yeah, I was not a happy camper. And I was I forgot whose show I was on when that was happening, and I was like bitching the whole time. Like, I cannot believe this is still updating.
Oh no, it's crazy.
Other than that, yeah, it's been a wonderful week.
Yeah, thanks for coming on there at Cerebral. War Stew, welcome. That Marox, welcome. Invader Gaming, Dragon Wolf, The Likely Lad, Masuku. What else we got? Judzilla, Infinite, Cerebral Paul, Muppet. What else we got? Back from the Dead was there at the start. Yeah, thanks for all stopping in. Animate Evil, how you doing?
I am very good, sir. Thank you very much. Had some bit of audio problems earlier, so I'm hoping you can hear me correctly now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. No more buzzing. Yeah. Thanks for having me back again on a Wednesday. I love it. The other question I know you're going to ask is what have I been playing? And unfortunately, Stubbs, I'm going to steal your thunder.
I know what you've been playing, though.
Yes.
I know what you've been playing, and I'm happy.
I've done nothing but Yakuza 0.
Which means after 23 hours, he's 2 chapters in. No,
I'm actually chapter something like 6. I think I'm about chapter 6, something like that. Yeah,
but I'm 45 hours in.
I'm not far behind, but there's a point that I've just got to that's just soaked me up. It's all side missions from here on out. It really is. But yeah, I've not really shown many other games the love this week. Other than working, coming home, and switching Yakuza straight back on. That's where I've been.
Nice. Fair enough. Fair play. And VJ, welcome, my friend.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you.
I've been in the chat for 30 minutes now, and this is the first time VJ said anything since I got here. So
there you go. Early Christmas gift.
How is Octopath going?
Yeah, it's really good. It's all I've been playing. Actually, my schedule's been. My schedule's a bit changed a little bit or somewhat, and I'm playing games at 6 or 7 in the morning now for a few hours, and it's just designed in a way that the storytelling and the progression is designed to be I don't know. The easiest word is to probably use addicting. I'm about 140 odd hours in, and I'm getting close to the end.
Wow.
Now I'm starting to think about what to play next. But yeah, it's been fantastic. I didn't realize it wasn't on PlayStation, and I'd heard it was
not.
good.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I'd heard
it's on Switch and Xbox, isn't it? And PC.
Switch and PC, yeah, and So when it popped up in Game Pass, I got confused. I thought it was actually going to be removed from Game Pass, but it was actually added. So I must have misread it, or maybe my app was on the
You can't buy it then.
Yeah, I was just going to say it just got added like a month ago, if that.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yes, it's good because I like to take my time with games and enjoy them. So, but I am sort of kind of looking ahead at 2 or 3 other games that I'll be playing probably by the end of the weekend, because I should be done with Octopath Traveler. Not that I'm trying to finish it in a hurry or anything. It's just I can kind of tell where I am at the game, and I kind of broke the back of it, so I'm slightly overpowered as well. But all in all, yes, it's been a fantastic game.
That's good to hear, that is. And welcome to Indie Gamer. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Mr. Keemer. Day or Indie. Your interview keeps rocking. Them numbers keep rocking up. People keep watching it. 45,000 views. I last seen it at. You should be proud, my friend. You should be proud.
That's awesome.
Well, 45,000 views, and it's not an OnlyFans. Oh, that's impressive. That's it's not a hot tub stream. So there you go.
No, Team Cherry are very popular. It was a very good show. Welcome to V2 Sins. Thanks for stopping in.
That's Timmy's friend.
Oh, is it Timmy?
Timmy knows Timmy's friend. The gaming buddy.
Yeah. So, as we've got Rogue, hang on, Goat Force Gaming on this week. I have a Rogue. Basically, a couple of weeks ago, when Returnal came out, there was this big, massive kerfuffle on Twitter. Oh, I've never heard of a roguelike till Returnal come out, and it wasn't advertised, and this and that. If you watch the adverts, it clearly was, but obviously, the roguelike isn't actually a new term, but it's taken a lot of the mainstream gamers that wouldn't normally try a roguelike game off guard. Would you like to explain the term, what a roguelike is, Goat Force, to people that don't know?
I can try. They've been around for a long time. You know, it's the definition of a roguelike is still widely debated, and there's terms like roguelite as well that are utilized. Right? But roguelike games have been around since the 80s when they came out. Probably the most famous one is Rogue, and it's an ASCII-based game, so it doesn't even have like a strong graphical user interface to it. But basically, you've got things like procedurally generated dungeons, permanent death of main characters, a wide variety of abilities that are going to be randomized across the different runs, and you're basically getting this loop of live, die, repeat. Now the rogue lights, and again, this is debated, but your rogue lights are going to offer progression along the way. So if you think of like Hades, you're going back to that hub world and spending some resources to open up incremental progression across your stats or your abilities or your weapons. That would fall more in the rogue light bucket, is my understanding. But that said, you've got games out there that people are calling roguelikes that don't meet all of those or do, and there's arguments one way or the other. But they've been around for a while, like going back to the 80s. I think that's when they got very popular. A lot of them were being produced at the time.
But see, like I was saying last week, I go back to the 80s and before, and I've never heard the term before, at least not to the extent I'm hearing it now ever since this game came out.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, I wasn't really super familiar with them until I had touched Rogue Legacy, the original in that series, and that came out in 2013. I remember playing that on the Vita and having a blast. So I think you're right. I mean, I don't know how popular that term has been over the last several years, and maybe that's one of the drivers as to why people aren't extremely familiar with it.
I'd never heard of
I
it
mean-
until recently. I've never
Yeah,
played a
no, it's-
roguelike game or nothing. It's crazy.
I know Stubbs is sitting there going, thinking we're all brain dead because he's like, "You haven't heard it, I heard it." You know, dude.
No, I don't expect everyone to have heard it. It was just a topic I wanted to bring up. That was all.
But
I don't know if it's-
last week when I said I hadn't heard it, you were like shocked and amazed that I hadn't heard it. I'm like,
I was. I just thought it was common. It's obviously not. You know, but the term has picked up a lot of traction in the last few years, especially if you play indie games. You have. I mean, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It's Mr. Goatforce Gaming's cup of tea, but it's not everyone's kind of genre. It's just,
Yeah, I really like them. I find them relaxing. You know, you're going through the same areas over and over and over again, and you don't. Eventually, it gets to the point where it's old hat, and you don't have to think and tax your brain so much. You know, so if I'm looking for something to just jump into, and it's been a long day, I like a roguelike or a roguelite. Because again, you know, you're going through the same instances of dungeons. They're randomizing parts of it, but your hands know what to do. You don't have to put a whole lot of thought into it. But you know, on the other side of the spectrum, these games piss a lot of people off. You know,
that's what
they get right. Right, so they get to the
relaxes.
second or third area and they go, "Damn it! What do you mean I got to start all over again? What is this?"
Oh.
You know, so I get it. I get it.
It reminds me
It's
of
like you just saying, it go, "Oh, this relaxes me," and on the other end of people, "Fucking hell, what am I doing?"
Yeah,
Yes.
that particular
You know.
that
You know.
particular viewpoint there made me raise my eyebrows a little bit when you said, "Oh, I find them relaxing," because they are known for their, shall we say, difficulty spike.
Yes.
I don't really go into really, really difficult games. I get annoyed at myself for being, you know, a spam-handed weirdo when it comes to things like that. But obviously, I've watched your channel a few times now, Goatforce. I always drop in and say hello. And the passion you show while you're playing makes me want to also go, I think I could do this. It's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
We've talked about it before, haven't we? I mean, yeah, it's definitely something I want to try.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that. I think I just go into them knowing I'm going to lose a lot, and that's okay. Because every time I go through and I lose, I'm going to go back. You know, if it's a roguelite, I'm going to be able to dump some currency into something, and the next time I go at it, I'm probably going to do a little bit better.
Okay,
And
so I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question real quick. Does State of Decay 2 fall in the category because of the fact that you can build up a character and all of a sudden permadeath and just, you're not necessarily having to start over again, but you are in the sense that you have to build up another character to take his place. You know?
See, Paul, you know, I could see a case for that, and I think that's why a lot of this is very debatable, whether it falls into that camp or not. But I've had the same thoughts. You know, I think there's various titles that could fall into it, or they're at least adjacent to it.
Right. They're like a roguelite. They have some of the aspects of it, but not all of them.
Yes. Exactly.
And I'd never heard that term till a few weeks ago. But hearing your explanation, that Dying Light. Any game that starts with permadeath is permanent. It's like, oh crap, you know. It's like, you know. And Dying Light with all of its glitches made that much more painful because a lot of times you'd lose your character to a mistake, to something that wasn't supposed to happen. You know, it's like, okay, this really sucks. You know?
Yeah. I could see people coming back and saying, well, but does Dying Light have the randomly generated areas and kind of the same? I don't know. Like I say, it's debatable.
Yep.
You know, a lot of to the indie gamers point, a lot of the roguelikes do show up more on the indie side of the house. Yeah.
Right. I could get that.
See, I've just learned something because I thought there was just roguelike. Then I find out, but you were just telling me, there's also roguelite as well.
Yep.
There is. So I didn't know there was two. I didn't.
Yeah, I've heard both terms over the last few weeks. So yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Mav from Speculation, and welcome to the Graphic God Jay. Thanks for stopping in.
Hey Jay, long time no see.
I'm not sure if VJ, have you got any comments on roguelike or roguelites? I don't think it's your kind of genre. Have you got any thoughts on it?
I'm just listening and hopefully being educated.
That's fair enough. That is. That is.
By the way, VJ, I am drinking tea with today's show. I have a little English breakfast tea going.
Well done, my good man.
Well, have you got crumpets? That's the main question.
No, we don't have crumpets. Yeah.
Okay, waste of time. Anyway.
Any more thoughts? Any more thoughts on the roguelike, or do you think we've covered it?
No.
Covered for now, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Goat Force, for offering the insight into roguelike and roguelite in depth. It's your kind of favorite game genre.
Absolutely, yeah. I really enjoy them. I like all games. Like I said earlier, I've been going through Resident Evil as well. Phoenix Rising, playing that one too. So I like all games for the most part. But yeah, the rogues they really set the hook in me. I like that loop.
I want to play Phoenix Rising so bad, but I can't fly that damn bird for the life of me. So it's like, nope, not happening.
Understand.
Yeah.
Okay then. Welcome, Pong Soul. Thanks for stopping in. Right. Got a little bit of an update on Yakuza, the Yakuza franchise by Sega. Now, this will be a bit of a mouthpiece for a minute, so I'm going to say it all. Sega have released their physical year results, and it features our favourite mobster series quite a bit. Yes, I'm talking about Yakuza. It has slowly become a much more important IP for Sega, and it seems that going forward, they're hoping the series can grow even larger. Yakuza has been listed as one of the 5 series that they hope will become a global brand within the next 3 years. One of the key strategies at Sega is looking at growing their brands, is remastering and remaking past titles. Reboots are also being considered for a number of games. Yakuza recently received a soft reboot of games, in the form of a new game and cast of characters in Yakuza Like a Dragon. It looks like they may also consider remastering and remaking past titles in the series. RGG Studios is no stranger to remakes, with the original PlayStation 2 games being remade for the PS4. The studio have been very open about the possibility of remaking even more titles from the series. Yakuza's producer even spoke back in February about possibly making spin-off titles which never left Japan. So the first 5 Yakuza games received remasters or remakes within the last 5 years. So I don't think it's possible that those games will be brought up to be remastered or remade again. It's just really positive news for Sega and the Yakuza franchise for people that actually like Yakuza, because I'm very new to Yakuza, and it's really weird because, like, obviously it doesn't look like a big open world game, and Yakuza 0, it's actually, the maps are small, but obviously I won't spoil for everyone. You've got side stories that actually have impact. They have branching storylines from sub story, and then it will follow up with another sub story, and it can lead you all different directions. There's literally tons, and they're not just like a lot of games have generic sub stories like go and pick up go and pick something, and they all kind of repeat themselves. But with Yakuza, they don't seem to do that. They're all individual, and obviously the main storyline so far, I'm at chapter 8, I think. Chapter 8, well, actually 45 hours in. So that will tell you how invested I'm in the game. And yes, a lot of people say Yakuza 0 is a very big game, but if you're enjoying it, what does it really matter? You know. But it's not like a big open world like Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed style game. But they managed to pull off what a big open world game is in a small map, which is really good. But I'm really enjoying the Yakuza franchise, and it's thanks to Xbox and the great service Game Pass that I'm actually playing Yakuza, because I wouldn't have thought to go and try a Japanese game like, say, Yakuza in a million years, really. I mean, I just tried it. I liked it. I got stuck for a bit on one mission, and I eventually went back to it. So I looked on YouTube and how to get past this mission. It wasn't exactly cheating. It was like the guy's got to clear out the office, but I didn't realise you had a pager. So I looked on the pager and he cleared the office out. And after that, I've been playing it ever since. So it's been really good. I think it's really good for Sega. Really, they're not the biggest of companies anymore. I mean, obviously, but over here they're gaining a lot of traction with Yakuza. It is really good to see. It is. But
I think a lot of that has specifically to do with them putting those games on Game Pass. I think I think even they were taken aback by the positive feedback and the many players they picked up. Holy crap.
I agree because they've publicly praised Game Pass. Is it 3 or 4 times now? So it's obviously it is part of the business strategy for obviously Xbox for Yakuza and the Sega franchise. I'd probably believe they're probably in the works to bring Persona to Xbox Game Pass. If I'm saying that name right, I don't know. I can't say for sure, but it would be a good move if this had a positive impact for Yakuza. It should be positive for Persona. So,
I can guarantee you the other companies that haven't released much on Xbox are looking at that and going, maybe we could do the same thing and drive up some interest in our titles that have up until now been Sony only, because you're truly opening up a new player base. And by putting it on Game Pass, you're not asking people to spend $50, $60, $70 on a 12-year-old IP. You're just saying, hey, give us a shot, see what you got.
You're right, but Yakuza 0 is actually very cheap. It's like 4 to 14 quid.
I'm just saying in general,
But if it hadn't if it hadn't come to Game Pass, would you have tried it, Stubbs? I don't think it was even on my on my radar as a I would buy into.
I wouldn't have loaded up any of the Yakuzas if they hadn't hit Game Pass.
Like lad, just to know, no, I'm actually terrible at that part of the game. I'm playing karaoke. No, I'm awful. And the dancing. Not very good at that part
at all. I can't do that part at all.
I'm terrible at them, but it's a bit of fun. It is. But I know someone who will have a bit to say on this. VJ, have you got any thoughts on this?
It'll be interesting actually, because Sega weren't the first company to actually have the idea of actually producing a Yakuza-esque type game.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I can't say who, but I was sitting in a meeting in the 90s when the subject was brought up with a Japanese company, and they said it won't work.
Well, they're lost.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But look, it's different times, different management. You can't really blame the brand or the company or the label, right? All decisions at the end of the day are made by individuals. For me, how much I enjoy the Yakuza game stuff, because I kind of speak to you about it every day. I think it's great.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're an existing fan of Sega's current franchises and studio output, I don't think really that they produce anything better than the Yakuza and Judgment series currently, right? Based on what comes out of their studios. I know they've got some I know they've got some. I think I'm trying to think. Is it Football Manager and a couple of other Civilization or something that they own as well? And I think they'll probably do reasonably well for them. So, but if for me, if you like Japan and you want to sort of get an insight into the Japanese culture or the Yakuza culture, both franchises, Yakuza and Judgment, definitely offer you this. And I feel that the games are, I don't know, for me, have always been unique and outstanding, especially in their storytelling, and definitely in terms of creative and technically what they achieve, especially with the remakes, right? With Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2 and Yakuza 6. I mean, there's just tons and tons of unique assets, and the production value per square inch, as I've forgotten his first name, but Moriarty coins it. I heard him say it, and I thought it was an excellent observation or a turn of phrase if he actually did coin it himself. And it's better than most AAA games. I mean, it's interesting what Sega are doing right now, and I think it's absolutely incredible that they are now deciding to bring, especially Lost Judgment. I don't know if everybody's aware of it, but it's a sequel to Judgment, and it was the first game, Judgment was, in terms of having fully voiced over cast and in English. Sorry, not just in Japanese. And I'm so happy that it's coming out, and obviously be able to pick it up for the Xbox Series X at the same time it's launched for the PlayStation, which obviously
the trailer looks really good.
Yes, especially with those two franchises that are synonymous with PlayStation in Japan. But I think that Sega have always had the finances available, to pitch for, especially for the studios to pitch for, since they were, and I was surprised when I did a quick check, and they were bought for $2 billion 17 years ago by Sammy, and Sammy aren't short of any sort of cash, right? They've got plenty. Right?
Yeah, I know, because there seems to be this perception that Sega's dying and they've got no money.
No,
it's not true.
No. The problem is with the way I see it. I mean, Paul will probably tell you this. I don't know how old the rest of you are, so I don't want to presume you're old like me and him. Is that during the 90s? I mean, Sega were really dominant, especially in the arcades, and everybody would hope when when do we get our arcade conversions, right? And when people like Yuji Naka and Yu Suzuki, the two names that were on the lips of every gamer back in the day, when they left or when they, sort of, I don't know how politely, but were past their sell-by date in creativity, Sega never really went out to sort of nurture and gather new talent, right, or develop it under those two guys, right? It kind of just when they left, everything started to fall apart. But and significantly so Sega's, for me, have just been consolidating for quite a number of years. Obviously, the significant part of Sega was and the surprise was the acquisition of Atlas, right? I mean, Atlas weren't doing badly at the time, but obviously they were happy to be acquired by Sega at the time. And the CEO of Sammy, when they bought Sega, he's a bit of a collector, and he bought Sega as a passion, not as for business as well as passion, I would say. And I mean, so much so that he changed the public listing name of the company from Sammy Corp to Sega Sammy Corp. So that should tell you everything you should really, really need to know. And I do, hear, from time to time, Sony killed off Sega, but that's not actually necessarily true. Sega just never, as I say, retained the right corporate team, the leaders as well as the vision holders to start and seeing and thinking ahead. And a perfect example, and I was there at the time, I was sitting at Sega's offices, and they were sitting there, and their strategy was, let's just stick to the tried and tested and traditional methods, and let's spend an exorbitant amount of sponsoring Arsenal Football Club, which is tribalistic in its very nature. Any sports team is. While Sony decided to say, look, this is how we market our electronics, our Walkman, etc., and so on and so forth. So we're really strong in nightclubs and music and so on and so forth. So they start advertising and marketing their products in nightclub to a higher end sort of not more mature, but those sort of people that have got disposable incomes and are happy to spend, hundreds of pounds even back then, right, on an evening, right, and sell them on something cool, right. and what they did was just market PlayStation through their electronic stores and retail partners worldwide. And back in those days, they were everywhere, right? Those stores, not so much now, but back in the 90s, that was where there's an incredible amount of their business, and they had a comprehension of what the target audience was at that point in '94 and what it was going to be like in 2000, and took gaming mainstream. Just Sega never woke up. And again, what did they do? Even with the Dreamcast, right? They tried to focus on arcade conversions, right? With Crazy Taxi, Virtual Fighter, Virtual Cop, and all that game. And like I see a lot of infantile minds in the Xbox community who were expecting Xbox to purchase Sega, but they simply don't understand why Sega was bought by Sammy in the first place, let alone the nature of the Japanese people. The son of the CEO of Sammy has been running Sega. I don't know for how long, but in recent times, and slowly but surely, Sega are kind of getting back up on their feet, and I really hope that they do. And especially with, what is it? It's not biannual. It's like every 2 years, right? You're seeing either a Yakuza or a Judgment game, right? Which I think is kind of healthy, rather than, what is it, that we get the usual franchises every quarter, every sort of last quarter of every year, right? You know the usual suspects. So I won't list them out. I think Judgment will be a trilogy. I expect more. I expect more Yakuza games. I think releasing the game's multi-format, as I said, going forward, would only serve to exploit and expand the brand's franchise and awareness. And they've been forthcoming for a while. And yeah, I just hope that those both get to see a lot more love. And I think, as Paul and was saying, right, is just creating the awareness of the franchises now, remaking some of the games, getting people familiar with them. And let's be honest, Xbox fans have been starved of Japanese games for a long, long time. And I know it's not for everybody, but I know some people that don't like to read subtitles that are immediately put off because it doesn't have VOs. I think that's this, but I think that as an audience in general, whatever the media is, and there are people, and there's more and more shows, right, on Amazon and Netflix that have subtitles, that not just from Asia, but from the Middle East or from France, from Germany, from Scandinavia, and so on and so forth. So it's just about educating and reprogramming people's understanding of what they're used to, right? And it does take some time, but I guess that's why the new Judgment Lost is going to be in English with English subtitles as well. But I do hope that they do have the option of dual language, because for sure I would want to play it in Japanese with English subtitles. I can go on and on and on, but one thing I will say, what I have seen in Judgment, is that you can definitely see some of the features that they're adding to the Dragon engine, and for the first time you'll be able to climb, and for the first time you'll also be able to sort of jump and sort of parkour, I think it's called, a lot more freely from what I've seen from the latest Lost Judgment trailer. There's definitely work to be done to the engine in terms of like animation systems, for example, especially when you look at the likes of what Naughty Dog and Insomniac's upcoming Ratchet and Clank can do. I think it's great, as I say, if you're a fan of Sega's current output of content. And Sammy have plenty of money. It really is about people stepping up and saying, hey, look, these are the games we want to make. This is what we want to do. And you've seen even Capcom, right, have a downturn and then come back really, really strong with the RE engine, right? And that's why I was kind of mentioning the Dragon engine in terms of what it can and can't do, because some of the things it does is outstanding. And Capcom's changed its fortunes in recent times, being able to create 3D action adventure games as well as first-person games, right, in exactly the same engine. And I think it's turned out to be a blessing for them. I mean, Resident Evil 2 remake, 7 and 8 being first-person, and obviously Devil May Cry uses the same engine. So yeah, it's just, again, as I say, hiring the right producers with the right vision holders and recruiting the right talent. And Sega, hopefully, one day, hopefully not too far in the distant future, will reclaim, some of the prestige that they had during the 90s and in the early 2000s. So anyway, that's everything from me. I'll stop talking now.
No, I think you're right. I mean, that's an element I never thought of, because I never used. It's not something I watch. You're on about English subtitles with Japanese. I don't watch films like that, but with Yakuza, I was all right with it. I thought this is.
I watch a lot of Asian dramas. I watch a lot of Korean, Japanese, dramas. all in. I spent time over there, obviously, so
Yeah.
and you'd be surprised. Sometimes you're in your sleep and you're sort of like speaking Korean to yourself. It's just funny. So,
No, that's an element of the game that top. But yeah, VJ, that's an element of the game that I'm all right with, because and you have to read it, and it's quite good. I never thought I'd like that kind of thing, so maybe I'd like to watch a film that way. I don't know.
I'd be love to hear what Animated Evil's experience has been in terms of listening to the Japanese voiceovers, the acting, and then having to read the subtitles, because he seems to be sort of playing the story. So he's going from chapter to chapter, very efficient.
Well, just getting distracted slightly by the sub stories. But no, just one comment, just for the lighty lad, to you, VJ. So I believe this is Final Fantasy. Is that PSO 2? What game's that?
Fantasy Star.
Star Online.
Yeah, he said that generates a massive revenue for Sega. That one does.
Yep.
Did you play that, VJ, or have you played it?
I played it a long time ago, but when a lot of video games came out, I was moving around quite a lot, so I missed a lot of gaming for a lot of years. I know it sounds strange, and I was kind of like glued to my 3DS, playing all the Dragon Quest games back to front. But when they were remade, the old Super Famicom versions. So yeah, and I only really got into sort of online gaming when I kind of like got to know Mr. Tushi a bit better. But before then, I was pretty much into single player games. So it's no surprise that, after I finish Octopath Traveler, it'll either be Mass Effect Legendary Edition, it'll either be Yakuza 6, or it'll be Final Fantasy 12. Just those are the sorts of games that I'm drawn to, because I can play them at my own pace, at my own time, especially with my schedule being all over the place. So sorry for the long answer.
No, it's good. Welcome, Mario and the Man. Thanks for stopping in. And we will go straight to Animated for his thoughts.
I'm kind of the opposite of Stubbs. I don't usually play games in a foreign accent and read the subtitles, but I do watch movies. If they're an original movie from somewhere else, I will prefer it in the native language and watch subtitles. So, polar opposite. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's not like a movie, but you get engrossed as much as a movie.
You do.
The thing you mean Russian submarine captains don't have Scottish accents? I'm amazed. I thought that was so realistic.
No, and I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is a fantastic example, because it has dual audio, and I very much I know that the Square Enix have made one good game with exceptional voiceovers, which took me by surprise, and that was Dragon Quest VIII. And since then, they've flattered to deceive. So for me, whenever I watch Japanese trailers, whenever I see an American or PlayStation or Xbox trailer for the West, which is advertising a Japanese game, I'll just kind of like watch it. Then I say, but then I'll go and out of my way to find the Japanese version of that trailer with subtitles, which YouTube do attempt to make reasonably well, but not great. But yeah, more often than not, I would prefer to play a game in the language that from the country of origin with English subtitles. But that's just me. It's not for everybody. But at least we've got the option, which I think is the most important thing. Having the option to be able to enjoy the game in the best way that it engages your own personal imagination, because it's all subjective. And to each and everyone has a slightly different taste to what the volume's set at, right? So yeah, as long as the options are there, got no complaints whatsoever.
Can I ask a general question?
Sure.
For folks that enjoy playing the game in the native language, do you understand? Can you speak fluently that language? And if you can't, what is it that brings to you playing it in the native language, even though you can't understand it?
For me, real quick, authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Even with movies and TV shows, if they're supposed to be speaking German, I want them to be speaking German.
Okay.
Because I don't mind reading subtitles and whatever if it's stuff like that. I don't like when you're supposed to just assume because they're saying on screen I can't understand you, even though they're both basically speaking the King's English, and you're going That is actually kind of I jokingly just brought up The Hunt for Red October for those that didn't get the reference, but the way they did that was really kind of cool in that they were speaking Russian at first, and they zoomed in on the mouth and they switched it to English to tell you that, hey, these guys are still speaking Russian, but now you can understand them.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's authenticity, but I can tell you now, right? It's almost like a copy of a copy. If a game is made in Japan and it has an English voiceover, when the script is then translated across, something is lost. The soul is lost, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the soul is what I'm always looking for. What's partly engaging me, and it's subconsciously, because before you ask the question, I never even asked myself the question. So when you ask the question, anticipation and soul were the two things that immediately came to my mind, right? I mean, there's people in the chat mentioning Final Fantasy 12. They're mentioning Beat Takeshi, and all of those movies have been dubbed, right, all the way back. But if you go back and watch some of the dubbed movies in the past, right, it's like okay, fair enough, and it kind of is a bit very cheesy, shall I say? And things have improved, but the nuances of the humor as well, I think sometimes is lost in translation as well. But I think that it's not just the VOs in Japanese that have the soul to them, but if you look at the acting as well and some of the motion capture the performances they're able to sort of duplicate within the game, given the limitations of game engines and so on and so forth. Hopefully that'll be a thing of the past as we move forward. It just makes just so much more deliberate sense for me to conceive versus listening it to in English, and some of the very strange voice acting decisions or voice cast decisions that are made. Yeah, dubious at best. And you wonder how, why, and what, and it'll always be subjective. At least with the original, you can accept it for what it is, even perhaps if you don't understand it.
I hate to say it, but growing up, I thought every Chinese martial artist had a voice like a squeaky door hinge. Because every time they would dub them over with American actors, they always sounded like they were, they didn't sound right at all.
No. Well, no, you're absolutely right. And I don't know if anybody's watched. There was a series on Netflix called Dark, in German show.
Yeah,
to do with time travel and sci-fi. It was absolutely fantastic. And again, I switched on the English voiceovers, and within 2 minutes, I was done. No way. Switched back to German. Watch the whole 3 series in German with English subtitles. But yeah, definitely you'll find a difference.
No, that's fascinating.
And on Netflix, it's really obvious too. If you watch a show or whatever that was done in a previous language and it's dubbed over in English, and then you turn on the English subtitles, they don't match. Sometimes they're not even close.
Yeah, to your point, VJ, the copy about a copy. Sometimes they don't get the translation
lost
right,
in translation.
100%. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's like telephone. That's fascinating. No, I appreciate you humoring me. I've just never thought about it like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, roguelike games, until you spoke about them, I thought, oh, is that sort of Bloodborne's all about, So, or even Hollow Knight, right, to a degree. But yeah, it's interesting because I've watched you play those games as well. So look, it's all a learning and educational process. I don't play every single genre of video game, and I conceivably can't. There's just so many of them out there. But it is always good to come onto these sort of podcasts and hear someone's opinion related to the subject matter, no matter what it is, because you're always going to learn something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate your perspective.
Other than a little bit off topic, but we do this. Got a question for you, Goat Force. Other than, I know your passion is your roguelikes, your roguelites. Do you play any other genres as well, or is it just those predominantly, and you might dabble, or?
Yeah, I play the wide variety of games. I'd say the only games that I kind of get away from are the sports games, the basketball, the hockey, baseball. I'll play a football game every once in a while. I'll do the racing games. Wreckfest is awesome, for instance. But Yeah, it's like it's everything. I'd say, I enjoy a good RPG if I can make time for it. I got most of the way through Final Fantasy VII Remake. We probably stopped with, I don't know, 10 to 15 hours ago to go.
That's blasphemy.
I know. I still feel bad about it. I say it ashamedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I play them all when it comes down to it. And I've been playing games for, 30 years, going back to the NES or whatever it's been. So a lot of types of games, but typically I play them all except for sports games. And lately, it's been a lot of indie games. Resident Evil is the first AAA I've played this year.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm the complete opposite.
You mean AAA, obviously, in terms of production values, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think, again, AAA again is subjective, it's personal, and it's a term that I'm not saying that you're doing that, but it's a term that's bandied about quite freely and without really retrospective thought. If you kind of get my drift.
Yep. No, that's a totally fair point. When I say AAA, I think of 1,000 devs all working together.
Yeah. If it's the indie gamer, when you mention AAA, he just thinks of Team Cherry and Hollow Knight.
You've been corrected in the chat, VJ.
Have I?
Indy said Hollow Knight is not a roguelike.
Oh no, that was my perception before
okay.
Force actually explained what it is. That was my perception prior to Goat Force talking about it today.
Okay.
Is that a counter correction from my point then?
Is that because of the difficulty curve then? Did you feel that because of how hard the game potentially is? Because you said it was quite difficult, right?
I was clarifying. Sorry, it's clarifying, not correcting. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think I've only ever played 3 JRPGs in my life.
Mass Effect doesn't count.
No. I've got Breath of the Wild on my Switch,
Cool.
and Shenmue 1 and 2 on the Dreamcast. I think they're the only ones I've ever played. So I've never played.
Not bad company at all, sir.
I've just never really got into them type of games, really. Like I don't even know what Phantasy Star's like or what it's about. I don't know absolutely nothing about Final Fantasy.
You know what? You've had a Dreamcast, so I would ask you the question: did you ever play Skies of Arcadia?
No.
Oh dear, I don't think I can talk to you anymore.
I don't even know what it's about.
Skies of Arcadia, Grandia, another classic game. Yeah, there's just so many that I remember from back then. Yeah, amazing games.
I played Skies. We can be friends.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you can just grow a beard and you can replace Tushi. Sorry, Commander.
Shall I log out now? I'll log myself out now. I don't know. There's just so many games I've missed out on. I don't even know what. I don't know why either. I don't know why I've never played any JRPGs really. Especially the last one I played was Breath of the Wild when it released.
Yeah, my excuse is because I was living in that part of the world, and they were like, I don't know. It's like a national week. Every Golden Week in Japan. I think it's twice a year. Either Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest would be released so that people could enjoy it because it was a national holiday for 1 week. So that everybody had that, rather than everybody leaving work, they'd aim to target to release those games in those sort of windows so that, people wouldn't bunk off work basically and use the week to play the game. And that's how big an event that they were. And they still, just if you think about it, the population of Japan at what back then was 50, 60 million. And, the launch would be, 2 to 3 million units on day one. And the games were so big, especially Dragon Quest, that traditional retail outlets back then were just not large enough in terms of the number of storefronts to cope with demand. So they would enlist, companies like Big Camera and especially 7-Eleven, which are thousands of them, pretty much everywhere in Japan, and they were drafted in to handle distribution or collection of pre-orders as well, just to cope with the demand. But anyway, I think I'm taking the podcast off to a different direction, so I'm going to hand it back to our capable captain, Mr. Stubbs.
I think Animated Evil was going to talk about Yakuza, and somehow we got derailed into
No, it's all good. We got there. It was fine. It's all back to you, sir. We got there.
Any more thoughts on Yakuza, anybody?
I got as far as the. I gave it a quick try. I got to just after the first karaoke. That's as much as I'm Yakuza 0. I gave it a quick try a few months ago. Just reminds me of Shenmue that game does. I've just not been back to it since.
Okay, fair enough.
It is good, and it gets a lot deeper than that first sort of initial thing. The thing about Yakuza, I said I was done. The thing about Yakuza is there's so much to learn about it. Yeah. They like to throw every sort of tutorial at you straight away. Do this, do this, do this. And it's not until you finish those bits that the game starts opening up and letting you run wild, and it makes a lot of sense after those. And maybe the initial, I'd say 45 minutes, an hour, it does open up and you can just, it just feels good. And there's some really crazy side stories that just come out of left field. I mean, you know those ones that make you think, did I just see that? Did that just happen?
There is.
Only Japanese games can supply, I think.
Some of the sub stories, it's the Japanese culture is different. But if some of the American games were to do some of the weird stuff in that game, they'd be slaughtered. They would be.
Do you remember, Mr. Tucci? I sent you a screen grab once of Yakuza. I think it was Yakuza 2, and it was the mission. Like, I can't remember what the sub story was. It's something to do with a panty pouncer or something like that. You have to apprehend him, and there's just tons of crazy stuff like that in the game. Yeah. What do you mean you can't remember? You told me that you printed it off and framed the image.
I do want to get back into them. The problem is, when you've in between games and you're just trying stuff out, and then when you turn a game on, there's loads of buttons to remember, and you think, oh, this is going to be a nightmare to remember everything, and then I end up stop playing.
Buttons? When I'm fighting, I button mash. I do.
So I remember doing that fight. You did that fight with those two guys outside the pub, and then you had to learn all those different moves.
Quite a lot of fights there is.
That's what reminds me of Shenmue. That is. There's lots of fighting, and the way that he stands. It just reminds me of was it
Ryu?
Right, Ryu. I can't remember his name. It's been a while since I played that.
They've just stuck a KI in front of this and the main character's name, so his name's Kiryu versus Ryu. Yeah, so that's all they've done.
Actually, I still own the both games, the Shenmue games. On Dreamcast.
They're worth a lot less if you don't have Skies of Arcadia.
I have both on disc, and mine are also worth nothing. Then, if that's the standard, mine are worth nothing also.
Saying that, Shenmue 2 is worth about £80 as a trade-in price. If you want to trade it in for some money.
Have you got Panzer Dragoons?
No, if it's a JRPG, I haven't got it.
That's worth a fucking lot of money. Panzer Dragoon.
Nope. Oh, there is another JRPG I've played. The Zelda that was on N64, is it?
The Ocarina of Time?
That's the one.
Yeah.
I borrowed that off a friend back in the day. It was quite good. I definitely think I completed it though. Anyway.
Yep. So let's move on. It's just more of an opinion topic, not a good. Do you guys feel that currently they've got a big variety on Xbox, first party, and Game Pass. But do you feel they're missing, like, well, I don't want to say children because a lot of the games on PlayStation, like Ratchet and Clank, is from children up to adults enjoy them. Do you feel that they could do with a standout like cartoon or comic book style game in the first party Arsenal to aim from children upwards? Do you guys feel that they could? I know everyone's going to say Super Lucky's Tale, but I mean something more like Ratchet or something like a more comic book like Spider-Man or something like that, from like children upwards. I don't want to say specifically children, but that kind of age rating upwards. Do you guys feel that's what they need something like that?
Just get the kids on Conker's Bad Fur Day.
What happened to Sunset Overdrive?
PlayStation owns it.
Well, I really like
Yeah,
that game. They should maybe think about trying to get a hold of something like that again. I don't know that it was marketed towards kids, but it was very colorful. I remember one of the devs. This was a long time ago, but watching an interview with one of the devs, and he was talking about how this is something that like he could show his younger daughter. So colorful, interesting world to play around in. I'd like to see something like that.
Yeah, it would be really good. That would be. I don't know if it's something they want to do, like the family area. Indy said there isn't really a lot of fun. I just feel they need something to do.
But they already own one of the biggest kids franchises with Minecraft. Which is how big? How much bigger can you be?
Something new. Something new.
Ah, yeah, fair enough.
But they're always adding to Minecraft, and then there's Roblox, and and if you want to go to some older stuff, all those Lego titles are very much kid friendly. I don't think they need to go looking to be. Oh, we need more family friendly. They have a lot of family friendly games. I mean,
Yeah, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
In Game Pass, I would say there's not much in there at all. But when you look at what there is, there's a lot of third party stuff, but the old game, there's something that stands out. I know Minecraft is there,
but to a kid, it's not an old game necessarily.
That's probably true. Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
Just because we were playing Lego Star Wars 10 years ago doesn't mean the 6-year-old kid was. I'm pretty much guaranteed he wasn't.
Thinking of it though, like my son, I mean, and he plays Minecraft and he plays Roblox and he plays Fortnite. So in reality, he doesn't. It's annoying. I'm trying to get him to play more games, but he just doesn't want to play more games.
Same.
Well, that's what kids do. That's why kids can watch the same stupid animated movie 4,000 times in a week, and you're like, "Oh my god, I can't handle this anymore."
I know.
That's when you.
I do see your point.
Oops, I lost the DVD. Comes up a lot.
There's two franchises that they've got that they could do something with, as Matt's just mentioned. Which is Banjo-Kazooie. That was an amazing.
I was going to say I'm looking at Game Pass right now. Banjo-Kazooie
and also Viva Pinata. They were really good.
They were.
They were hard.
New one. Make a new one.
Yep.
But
the thing is,
you like Paul's right. Kids just play Fortnite and Minecraft and Roblox. I mean, it's hard to get my son to play anything else. Well,
what you need to do with that, and just take it from I've worked a lot with, is find something that you can do together. Okay, let's do the co-op Lego thing. Let's have some fun and make some time every week to play with you. And don't just try to get him alone to play a different game, because that's just not going to work.
My kids play Granny.
I'll try that. I will.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, my kids, like you, Stubbs, they're spending all their time in Minecraft and Lego Worlds and that game with the goose.
The unnamed goose game or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
that one. They love it.
That
They
thing
love
is
it.
cool. That thing is cool.
They love it. So
And then,
finally, I taught my
Fall
kid how
Flat.
to. Yep,
You could play Human Fall Flat with your kid. That's a great game. That's a lot of laughs right there.
that is a good one too. I finally taught my kid how to play Slay the Spire, and now she's into that and really, really enjoying it. So finally found something that she likes a little bit more than Minecraft.
See,
My kids.
the thing,
Go on.
the thing is, I think we're looking at what games were like when we were kids. When we were kids, they had to be cartoony. They had to be something off Saturday morning TV. They had to be Toe Jam and Earl, for example. That's showing me age a little bit. But these days, the kids, especially if you invested in these new systems, they are used to a better quality game that have realistic graphics, that have ray tracing things. I mean, it's going to get worse. I mean, how long until kids expect photorealism in a game? I mean, we can't compare what
Yeah,
kids
you
like
expect
now
it now.
to what we liked back in the day. It's a whole new generation
No,
now.
if I showed a kid what we played on the 2600, they'd look at me like, "What the hell is that?"
There's no chance on this earth my pudgy little fingers can move fast enough to keep up with my kids on Fortnite. It's just. I look at him. It's like there's smoke coming off them things. Do you know what I mean? It's like how are your hands moving that fast? But we were like that as kids. It's just what kids are used to, and I think that's where we're going. I mean, and when you look at it that way, there's plenty for them to get on with. I mean, I play Rogue Company with my two boys. On numerous occasions, we'll do a co-op of Rogue Company. I mean, they are 9 and 13, and they're really good at it. We make an awesome team. So,
See, I think when your kids get older, photorealism is more prevalent. But I think, like my boy's only 6, and he thinks Roblox graphics is great. He thinks it's amazing. You see, so at that age, they're not really bothered. They're not.
I was referring to the kids in the next 10 years when kids that are born now in 10 years' time. That's probably what they're going to think. You played what?
Yeah,
Roblox,
you are probably right there.
Do you know what I mean? It's an ever evolving way.
I'm still going through the list. There's all kinds of games that your kids probably have not seen, dude. That would be new to them. They're old to you, but they would definitely be new to them. I mean,
Yeah, he likes that. I do play some games with him sometimes. It's called I don't know if it's still in Game Pass or not. It's called Moving Out.
Oh yeah.
That he likes to play that with him. Yeah, that one's good.
My kids play a game called Granny. It's like a little kids horror game where there's an old lady running around a house looking for a bit like Dead by Daylight, but the Granny's used it's AI basically.
Is it like the neighbour game? Help me out.
Good Neighbor. Hello, neighbor.
Yeah,
you're all going to laugh at me.
It might be a bit like that.
I can't play that game because I tell you what,
I can't play that game at all.
When that dude comes running out of that house, he's scary. I'm I'm out of the game. I tell you. I don't know why it's a kids game, but it scares me. It's a fucking bloke.
It just for me, it's just too difficult. I can't escape him at all. It's just I'm like, nope, not gonna happen.
I don't know. It makes a change because my kids are usually obsessed with Minecraft or Plants vs Zombies.
So you get a list, don't you?
Yeah.
You get a little email, don't you? Say what they've been playing, don't you?
Yeah, yes, because it's a child account on the Xbox. I get like notifications of how many hours are spent on the PC, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even at school all the time, he's still hitting like 80 hours a week on his PC.
Wow.
Wow.
It's not bad. Because I know on Plants vs Zombies because he's got 2 profiles he plays on. He's got over 1,500 hours on one. I think it's over 1,000 hours on another one. He's crazy about them games.
Wow, that's big. That is.
Yeah, they're bigger than me, the gamers, you know, them two are. I don't know.
You know, and remember, if you sit there and you complain that he plays the same game all the time, over and over again, watch
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange and realize that, hey, things could be worse. You know?
Yeah, you know what though? As I think about it, you know, I must have played through Golden Axe on the Genesis 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I
was the
pop
same.
in Altered Beast and I'd finish that one a couple times a week, right? So
Altered Beast, awesome.
we did
Mine
the
was
same
Alien
thing.
Storm.
Power
Yeah,
up.
we did the same thing, just with in different ways. Be it, you know, with them it's games. With, you know, with a lot of, like I said, with a lot of kids it's movies or TV shows. You know, that the parent gets tired of hearing the same song over and over and over again. The kid just thinks it's the greatest thing ever. You know, it's
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of these is like, I know going back to roguelike games, but technically, when you had no save, it's like being on your Mega
Yeah.
Drive again, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
it's like being on your Master System, your Sega Mega CD. Weren't no saves. Your save was leave the fucker on.
Yeah, I
You
used to
know?
do that at school. Like you're playing in the morning before school. If you get up early, and you'd leave it on during the day without telling your parents, just turn the TV off, and then come back after school and carry on.
Oh, by the way, just to clarify, I only mean the save points. I don't mean the games were like roguelike. I just meant you couldn't save it, so you turned it
no.
off, you're back to square one. Yeah, that's all I meant.
you know, some of the old Xbox games that you can now download even still have, you know, here's the code, so you get back to this part of the game when you come back later, and you know you'd have to jot down the code, the alphanumeric code.
Okay.
Oh, that was horrible. Horrible. You get one letter wrong out of that 39 million digit code. I remember one game that was bad for that was Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco Grand Prix. That's the game that got me into racing, and that was horrible for it. You save. What? The screen's full of letters. What? Just going to write this down. 8, 7, 2. You were there forever. Yeah,
Can't
they were
possibly
bad.
be as bad as Simon's Quest on the NES. Oh
No?
my god. So many characters.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. And then you had games like Mega Man that said, hey, you know what? Now you're gonna do it with red and blue dots. Just flip the switch on you.
Did anybody ever own Zool? You used to have that spinny disc thing to even start the game. Remember
No, I
that
didn't
one?
have Zool. No.
That the name rings a bell.
It's a little like an ant. I think he was. I can't remember. I ain't played it for years. And you had like a massive, like the size of a big book. It was like a little disc that spins around inside a square thing, and basically you line them up, and it gives you like a code to put in, so you can start to prove that it's to do with old style DRM. Basically, I think it was, if I remember correctly. It's just so proof that you're in the game.
I definitely remember the name.
Likely as put Zool on the Jaguar console. I think was it on the Atari ST or something like that?
Looks like the
Oh, I
indie
never
gamer
know.
had it on Amiga.
Was it Amiga?
I want to play my bloody Mega Drive, but you know what? I've got a TV downstairs. It's in the corner, set up with Mega Drive. I lost the fucking TV control. I can't play.
Oh no!
Still can't find it.
That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing, because you know for a fact that TV has buttons on to turn it on, but you would rather
this
spend
doesn't.
45
doesn't.
minutes. You would rather
this
spend
TV
45 minutes
No.
looking for the control than find those
No, but
buttons.
this TV hasn't. I've looked.
None at
There's
all.
no buttons on it.
No,
No.
my main TV has no controls on it at all. If I lose the remote, I am screwed.
Oh, it will turn
Yes.
up somewhere. It will turn up somewhere stupid. It will. You know,
Paul,
as
my
always.
TV doesn't even have a power button.
Yeah, wow.
It's
Well,
literally-
there is a way
nothing
around
with it.
because it's a smart TV and other things. If you have the right kind of phone, you can also, some phones have IR transceivers on them or whatever, and you can actually control it with your phone if you download the right software. So that's an
Yeah.
option for you, Stubbs, as well.
It works on the
Okay.
devices on the Wi-Fi. You can use Wi-Fi to access your TV.
Have you got any thoughts, VJ? Do you want to jump in?
Oh, what was the question? Oh, the kids game.
Wow.
I think yeah, it was the kids game one, right? I think when you asked the question, I think I understood or interpreted your question perhaps a little differently, maybe even wrongly. I think you sort of tabled the question: does Xbox, in terms of first-party offerings, I think you were kind of pining or leaning towards where are the characterful sort of mascots that star in great E-rated games that speak to a nuclear family model, but at the same time, you know, we had that right back in the day with, and I think many people mentioned the Rare games, but you can see how the studios have evolved, and especially it's taken Nintendo, nearly like 20, 30 years to really evolve that particular strength. And that's where their content, you know, sort of really blossoms, shall I say, right? And I guess then the question becomes, is it really necessary Xbox's short to mid-term, you know, priority, or is it on their radar at the moment? I think when I look at Xbox, you know, I'm on Boom shows, you know, right, and I'm on tomorrow, and he's a massive proponent, a fan of Banjo-Kazooie, and I don't blame him. When I played Banjo-Kazooie back in the day, after playing Mario at launch for the Nintendo 64, Banjo for me was by far the better game. But I think Xbox, I think where they are right now, they have picked up quite a number of studios. I think they've got a lot of teams on their hands that they need to manage, and I think they're initially trying to calculate the types of games needed to produce that need to be sort of produced. I'll try to get my words out, but try to be produced in tandem with the timeline of achieving a subscriber base of 40 or 50 million or even 100 million users. And it's difficult as development timelines are really difficult to adhere to, whether it's a small game or a big game, you know, or whether you're a size of the company that Microsoft is, like handling multiple studios and talent across producers that are managing. I don't know if one producer is managing 3 games from a head office perspective and what the layers are below them, but the level of consistency along those producers is another very difficult thing to do. And I think in Xbox's case, I think that they're purely focusing content that has an impact on the subscriber growth, and I think if they want like like the sort of content that you're talking about, first party modern day characterful mascots that drive the system and towards that family model, either buy a Nintendo system or look elsewhere, because other than third-party acquisitions, I mean, there isn't even a third-party studio or a company that I can think of that has that kind of content, other than, you know, Dragon Quest, you know, Square Enix and so on and so forth. But as I say, I think Xbox are going to invest in content that retains and grows the subscriber base as of today and going forward over the next 3 or 4 years. So that's pretty much all the studios tied up, and it's definitely going to be targeting the audience and the audience that they're trying to gather or procure. And again, you know, further down the line, when they've reached those numbers that we've talked about, depending on who the audience is or how it's changed, I think was it you, Animated, saying, or was it you, Paul, saying that, look, times have changed since the 90s, right? The way games are perceived, the way they're played, the dexterity and the perception of young kids now these days being able to outperform us as youngsters back in the day. You know, we had 2 buttons or 3 buttons on a controller if we were lucky, right? And now they've got, like, you know, all sorts to sort of get familiarize themselves with, and they do it, you know, subconsciously, right? There's sometimes I see gamers play games, and there's like, especially the Street Fighter tournaments, and I think I'm pretty good at Street Fighter, but when I see these guys play, you know, I just don't understand how they figure out or comprehend or know exactly where, you know, when they jump or use a hard, light, or medium kick, punch, or kick or punch, you know, what pixel will do, you know, how that impact is calculated, or where the hitbox is, and just, to me, it's just astonishing. As I say, the question remains: does the initial subscriber base that Xbox are targeting or anticipating to sort of to bring on board and accumulate the numbers that they need, do they need to offer them E-rated games? And I don't just mean E-rated games, but E-rated games that speak to kids, but as well as us, right? And that are charmful, colourful, and appetize the palate, you know, in a lovely way. But look, your question, your answer, my answer is probably as vague as your question, but many may disagree. I just have no idea. But I think it's just a case of someone in the chat mentioned Battletoads, right? So obviously somebody came along and said, "Hey, look, we want to do Battletoads."
Yeah, you are right there. Yeah,
and
you are right.
But my issue there with Battletoads, it just wasn't executed or invested into or funded to the degree where I felt that in terms of what could have been achieved, right? And again, it's just something as simple as it couch co-op versus online co-op was a big miss for me. And I remember discussing this point much earlier, sort of in the middle of last year or towards October last year with Mr. Tucci. About this, right? Being the gaming connoisseur on our panel each and every week. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I understand what you're pining for, and when I have those sort of urges and so on and so forth, I often just defer to Nintendo for whatever they have to offer. But it's typically at $60, right, each and every time, which is fine. That's their business model. People buy into it. It's very, very successful. No issues whatsoever.
That decision to not do the online co-op, I think that killed that game way too early.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah,
it should have done online with that one.
Yeah, and this is why, if you listen to what I said in the initial part of my talk on the question that was asked by Stubstand very politely, was the fact that, look, they've got a huge number of studios. Some people may see as, hey, big numbers, Xbox number one, but with big numbers, big number of studios, a lot of moving parts, having the talent of producer networks that are required to make sure that those games are executed to a high level degree, and that's regardless of the talent that's within the studio, because they can't see everything. They can't once they're in production of a game, it's very difficult to see outside of your own sort of like rabbit hutch, should I say, right? Because you're so involved and you're just sort of like involved so deeply in development, you can't see, and that's why you have marketing departments and analytic departments and producers outside of it, and just keeping an eye on keeping those games on track. But those producers are responsible. So again, something I won't talk about Halo Infinite just going too far off track. But again, why and how was that missed? Was it really a budget issue, given that studios are given the freedom to create games? And I think if you ask that studio, hey, look, if you were given the budget and freedom to make that game with online multiplayer, would you have done it? And I'd be hard pushed to anyone to say that they would say no. So there's obviously something amiss there, and something to keep an eye on. And I'm not trying to be sort of pessimistic. I'm trying to be constructively pessimistic, because some mistakes from the past are creeping in, and I kind of see them. I don't talk about them right now. I talk about them privately offline, because they haven't come to pass, and people may just think, oh, you're scaremongering. But if you've been in the industry or you've been in gaming for as long as some of you guys on the panel, you can sense and see certain things if you're looking at things objectively, right? I just hope that if some of these sorts of great games or franchises are resurrected and come to pass, that they do appear on Xbox again in the future for a different audience, or as the audience evolves and changes from whatever it is, 20 million subscribers to 100. Who knows what we're going to see. But as I always say, it's always down to the vision holders and producers within the company being able to raising the hand and saying, listen, we need to do this. I'm taking responsibility. But you'll find in a lot of corporations, not just video gaming industries, there are a lot of people in power that are gutless and that don't have the vision, or have the vision that are just too scared, or they're gutless. And that's why sometimes we sit here, post the release of a video game and analyze it and say, how was this decision made? Why was this missed? And okay, fine, it's all great with hindsight, but obviously we now know that budgets and delivery dates are a priority for most major companies, right? And it's about, is this good enough to release? Versus someone like Nintendo, how can we make this game better, even if we have to delay it, right? And a lot of people speak to that. Oh no, that's exactly how we work. But I call bullshit on that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Thank you.
Now I do have a question. Of all the studios that Microsoft has acquired, are any of them known for family-friendly, kid-style games?
Rare.
I think only Rare. That's the way I mentioned them.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, Paul. I was just going to say, just so I can maybe phrase your question, maybe you may want to address it. Is there's the studio that makes Full Throttle and Grim Fandango and Dare the Tentacle. I've forgotten what is it, Tim Schafer, and and on Boom Show, people often shout out, "Why can't they make Banjo? Why can't they make Banjo?" I don't know the studio
but see, remember those games, Grim Fandango? Those were all done back in the '90s. Those were all LucasArts games.
Yeah.
Look, LucasArts cranked those out way back when. I mean,
I played them most recently, actually, the remastered versions. I very much enjoyed them.
Oh yeah, they're incredible games, and even in the '90s, they were incredible.
Yeah.
Now, did you flip the switch so you could see what they used to look like?
No, I just didn't want to damage my eyeballs.
That's what I was just about to ask. Paul, when you look back at the way that Full Throttle was before, it was awful, wasn't it? But to me, that was really good graphics back then.
Oh, when it came out, it was jaw dropping. It really, seriously, when it came out, the whole wide open riding the motorcycle through the desert thing and all that stuff was amazing looking.
I had it at launch. I did when that came out. I loved it. I did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so it's unfair to say, well, why can't they do that? Because those were basically truly remasters. Those were, they took the old, and because of the way they were drawn previously, it was really pretty easy for them to bring them up to date. They were basically always cell shadowed or whatever you call that. They were. I was actually impressed they got a hold of the licensing because LucasArts and Lucas Games shouldn't hang on to their stuff.
It was a nice surprise when it got announced that it was getting remastered.
Yeah,
I was well happy. I was, because I bought that on. They launched it on mobile a couple of years ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
I swear I bought it on iPhone for about $5, something like that. And I played through the whole game on there as well. That was good. But when I played on the Xbox, I still couldn't remember what to do. Especially with the bunnies across the minefield, and I'm still confused what to do on that one.
But it does come down to that's why I asked the question: how many of the studios have a history of doing family style games? I don't think there's a lot of them, with the exception of Rare.
Rare and hang on, what's the other one? There you go.
Yeah,
there's also a third-party studio that could contract. God, what's that bloody game called? It's got like a little gecko in it. It's on Game Pass.
Ukulele.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's the one, isn't it?
They're good kids' games. But yeah, you are right. In general, I don't think Xbox needs to focus on it. Which, hearing everyone's opinions, I have to agree. To be honest.
Well, there's enough third-party games and indie developers that do that kind of stuff, that feed into Xbox and feed into Game Pass. That
Yeah, but I know you are hyped for a game coming out this year, Paul. You've got your $60 ready already.
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, Barbie's Dreamhouse, man. Barbie's Dreamhouse, right? Yeah.
He's got his $60 ready. He'd be queuing at the door. Here you go, take my money, won't you, Paul?
Yeah, that's me.
Because I'm sorry to say it, everyone hates this. Going to be $60 or $70, and every fucker's going to buy it. It's going to be in the top 10 for the next God knows how many years. People will buy it. I know everyone says they won't, but we won't. But a lot of people will buy it.
They're going to keep feeding that dead horse, man. That horse has been dead a long time. They're beating that horse. And they're
Go Force is waiting for it, and you go Force with your money.
Stubbs. I thought I'd bought the game 4 times in the past, but when I was discussing with a friend with Nuke Nukem, I realised that I've bought it 5.
Oh man!
But the way I see it is, when it comes out again, I know even if it is full price, I think I'm still going to end up buying it. I know it.
I know your missus likes it, don't she?
My missus plays it every day. Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, you'll be a pre-order guy. Come on.
No,
take my money.
I just don't get it. But it's the same old game.
It's like, and mate, The microphone's not
I mean,
working.
and to me, it's not like other remasters where we haven't seen this game in 10 years. No, we haven't seen this game in 10 minutes. Okay, it's right there. You know, it's
The thing is, though, it's like, have you seen some of the mods that are on that game? Like, they're realistic. Some of them are amazing what they can do. But if they could make something really impressive like that out of the game,
I mean,
indeed, it's GTA 5.
Indeed, we're talking about
yeah.
GTA 5 remastered. Well, I think it's
Remastered.
remastered. I don't really know, but that's what we're on about.
I honestly would have preferred bring back some of the add-ons, bring back Vice City, bring back all that stuff. Don't stop rehashing the same 13-year-old game that's been beat to death. You know.
I know I'll end up buying it, but I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to buy it if it's like 50, 60 quid or something.
It will be. You know it will be.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and he'll buy it. Watch, he will buy it. Yeah, I gave in. I bought it. Yeah.
PlayStation you might make some money off it.
See, a lot of people don't realize the reason that game's so popular. Now, I know we don't watch it, but a lot of these YouTubers like Jelly,
I know.
all these big gaming YouTubers,
they get a crap load of viewers. Yeah.
But they play mods on GTA. Say, you know, the Five Nights at Freddy. They'll get the Five Nights at Freddy characters and drive around the GTA. But they play it in a way that it's not really that violent for kids. I've watched it, but that's why these younger, because I bought GTA 5 for my son. Yeah, it's on my account. I've never let him play it though. It's for the kids. But it's for the kids. Yeah.
I
know. But in the end, I didn't feel like I could let him play it all the time. He played it once, drive a car around in it. He's never asked to play it again. He hasn't. He plays. He's happy with Minecraft and Roblox. Apart from the fact Roblox, man, God, it's expensive than Roblox. You think Fortnite's expensive? It's not. Roblox is far more expensive. $4.99 don't get you much in Roblox. I tell you.
See, that's what you get for introducing him to your. You should have broken out the Atari 2600. Said this is it. This is what you get till you're 18.
Yeah. welcome Fastback. I'll see you in the chat. It's a good conversation going on. Thanks for stopping in. But yeah, no, it's I don't know if it's something I'll buy, but I was hoping for some kind of future GTA 6 announcement. I think it's about time, but everyone keeps living off these rumours it's coming.
The thing is, as well, they're splitting up the main game and the multiplayer. Hopefully you can hear me now.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have to pay for them separately.
Oh, good. Actually, for me, that's good. I like that they're doing
Red
that.
Dead. I like Red Dead then.
Yeah. On the new consoles. However, if you are a PS5 owner, you get to play for the first
3 months.
3 months. I thought I was going to say 4. 3 months for free.
Exclusive, baby.
Exclusive. Yeah. So, but they are splitting it up. So, still, I can't see why I would want it again. I had it on the 360. I had it on the One. I've bought my eldest boy it. No, not anymore.
Have you shark cards?
It's like Fastback.
I refuse the shark cards.
It is true what Fastback is saying, and people have to remember that GTA 5 was popular amongst the youth who have finally come of age to be able to play GTA, and that's why it keeps saying he's right. He just keeps selling. All these popular YouTubers keep playing it, and a lot of the reason that influences the younger gamers to want to buy it, and that's why it keeps selling and selling and selling and selling. That's the reason. It's not because it's amazing. It's because you got to remember we played it. Well, I played it on the 360, or yeah, I definitely played it on PS4 and 360, and that's what it is. It's just the new youths coming in wanting to play it, and that's why it's selling out. You know, I just wish they'd bring out a new game eventually, GTA 6, but who knows if we'll ever see it. You know,
they won't, as long as it's earning as much money as possible.
Yep.
Where's the incentive for them to bring a new game out?
It's not. It's a cash cow. There isn't really an
exactly.
incentive to. There is no incentive. I mean, I think Rockstar's business would be fine if
For
they
all
just
we know.
yeah.
For all we know, 6 could be ready to go. 6 could be built. 6 could be thinking, do you know
Yeah.
what? As soon as
shit.
5 stops earning us money, we'll release the motherfucker. But until
like,
then,
oh.
no. We don't know.
Exactly. Oh no, keep polishing it. Keep polishing the game. No, money's still coming in, and then you could be right. All the money's dropping. Get a new game out.
Yeah.
He's right though. He could have been sitting there ready for the last 3 years. You know,
But now they need to update to the new engines. So now.
I'll admit, I bought a copy of it 3 or 4 weeks ago on the PS4. I ended up giving my PS4 to my dad, and I bought a copy of that. That was one of the first games that I wanted him to try out on there, and he's having a ball hanging out with Lamar.
Do you know, my son has to play GTA. My ex-wife's really strict against it, so he's just fucking downloaded off a torrent.
Did you?
She wouldn't buy it.
I was going to say, did you use the same excuse I did when my 13-year-old said, "Dad, can I play GTA 5?" It's okay, you can, but there's a couple of provisos. Not in front of your little brother, and don't tell your mum.
It's like my ex-wife said, no, you can't play it. Sorry, and next minute he's streaming it on bloody YouTube. He's downloaded it because his mum won't buy it.
It's a hard one because my kid's ain't. He basically just plays Fortnite and Roblox now, but a lot of my family have had the kids are at teenage age, and they want to play the games that are rated 18, obviously, and they just said that they tried to stop them playing the games, but what they found was they'd go around their cousins' houses, etc., friends' houses, and they'd see it all anyway. So they just gave up and let them play it.
Yep.
It's a hard one, but it's just one of them things. I mean, age ratings are there for a reason.
To me, the best thing to do is just communicate with them. Talk to them about what they're, what it is and what they're playing and whatever. And because you're right, they're going to sneak to their friend's house whose mom does allow them to play it, whatever.
That's what happens. I mean, my son just plays the kids' games at the minute. I haven't got to that stage where that's happening. It's nowhere near teenage stage, so you're nowhere near. But
yeah, my oldest lad's nearly 13 now, so he's very clever on the computer these days. He's better than me sometimes.
Yeah. But GTA sold 145 million copies. Million, not billion. Sorry. Oh, I think I said million. It's incredible, but obviously, what people have got to understand is with that figure. With that figure, when Epic Games gave it away for free on PC.
Yeah,
I would say I would say that's included in the sales figures as well.
I think even though I don't play it on PC, I did download that free version just so I had.
Well, you might as well.
Just.
It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting how much they spent on acquiring some of the free games, and it goes down as a loss, but in the long run, they've got more accounts. So but then you've got Epic Games have got more money than bloody God for that. For a single company, I don't mean like a big corporation like Microsoft. For a company that just make games, they're doing bloody well. Welcome, Noob Nukem. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Noob.
But it's Epic Games. Even if you haven't got a PC yet, like I haven't, I do actually go and click add to library. I might get one down the road when I can afford one. It's always worth having them free games,
That's exactly what I do. Even
with no subscription either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still do. I still do that with Game Pass games, or not. Games with gold. Even if I don't plan on playing it, I grab it and I have it. It's in the library. If something comes up later, and then I have it.
Yeah, you might as well. Exactly. There's no obviously games with gold ain't the best, but I
Yeah.
always click add to library. What you got to lose? Nothing, you know.
Yep. But and this to me, it also goes back to you have kids that have never seen these games.
Yeah,
You may not care
Yeah.
for it, but they may look at it and go, "Hey, I want to play that." Hey, there you go. There it is.
Because I remember last year via the. He still plays it a bit. I mean, we've never completed it, but we had a bit of fun with it. You know, when all the companies would be, you know, showing off. Oh, lockdown, you're all at home.
Right.
Lego gave away. They got a ninja game, haven't they? Ninjas, Lego ninjas. They gave that away.
Ninjago or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, no subscriptions or whatever platform. I grabbed it then, you know, which was really good. It was. I haven't completed it, but I played it with my son. Like we played it a bit, and he's like, "All right, Lego game." But yeah, it's all these companies are giving away free things, you know. Dick waving competition. Look at us! Look at us! Come on! Look at it! Loads of companies were doing it though. It's free PR, isn't it? You know.
Oh,
also, he's. Yep.
So go on.
No, I'm not. No to say.
Oh, sorry. What I was going to say was I've just been on the Epic Store to see what games are coming free. Do you know what the top-selling game is on? And it's higher than Grand Theft Auto 5 and Days Gone. The top seller in Epic Game Store is SnowRunner. You know the one that's been added into Game Pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was moaning that I've pressed download on.
Yeah, it's number one at the moment.
Oh, it must be good then.
I want to try that one.
I enjoyed Mudrunner. It's pretty hard though. Reminds me of work, and I have to drive on these construction sites and stuff, and stuck in the mud all the time. I've sent some pictures and stuff in the past.
Is it made by the same? Is it made by the same devs as Mudrunner? Because there is Mudrunner too.
Yes, the same company, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a fun conversation tonight. It has.
It has. You guys have been great.
Yeah, everyone seems to enjoy it in the chat. It's been quite good.
Oh, look, and it's right on time. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I know. Well, our beloved friend Mr. Removal Sanity is not here. We miss you, Removable, if you listen to this on demand.
Before you do any outros, I've got a little question for our esteemed guest.
Yep.
And bear in mind I'm a console player, not a PC player. If I wanted to dip my toe, and anyone else wanted to dip their toes into a rogue-like game,
yep,
where would one start?
Yeah, I think the original Rogue Legacy is a great game. I think it holds up. They don't have a release date on Rogue Legacy 2 yet, but they've put out a lot of content for it. So it's either going to be some point this year or maybe early next year. So Rogue Legacy, that series has been tremendous. Hades, but a lot of people have already played Hades at this point. If you liked Hades, Curse of the Dead Gods is also on console, and that's a wonderful game as well. Strong Hades vibes on that one. I think those are the ones that I would recommend. If you like card games, Slay the Spire, hands down. I've recommended that one to numerous people, including Meisuko, if he's still out there in the chat. And
Slay the Spire, is that the one you don't have to download that, do you? It just plays straight from the click of the button.
I think so. Yeah, I think that is true. Yeah, I think it is on cloud. It's on Game Pass. Wonderful game. Monster Train is another one, but Monster Train is set up a little bit differently. There's more of a lane system. Yeah. So I would recommend those to start.
Does that mean I've played a rogue game now?
I think that's what it means.
Okay, I've played one then.
Yeah,
think
thanks
that's
for the
relevant.
question.
Oh no, absolutely.
That was a good question. That was.
Thank you.
Oh, I see your dog.
Mm-hmm.
You got a
No,
collie.
he's messing about. He keeps running in and out the house.
Oh, I like collies. I do.
Yeah,
What's your teacher say? In my defence,
I was left unsupervised.
do you wear that for work? Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a great question, Animated. Thanks for asking it.
It's all right.
That was. And the Goat Force Gaming and Stubbs cast will happen at some point. I'm sorting out when to bring it back,
Really good.
etc.
Hey, Stubbs, people are asking about it. I'm getting inquiries at this point. People are knocking down the door. So, yeah, we better get on it, buddy.
Place of when to do it. And we've all sorted.
Tomorrow.
So I've got to get Indie Game on as well. Now.
Yeah,
Just when.
Indy will be great too. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, thank you for coming on, Goat Force. Can you tell people where to subscribe to you?
Anytime.
And follow
Really,
your great channel.
it's a thank you to you, you all, for having me on and letting me talk games with you guys. Yeah, you can find me at Goat Force on Twitter, or you can find my YouTube channel, Goat Force Gaming. We play a lot of roguelikes and roguelites, and sometimes other games too. But I focus on those. So thanks again. It's been fun.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. Did you ever tell people that when you used to use your Vox, that it was me? Was it me and Indy that convinced you to use your actual voice?
Yeah.
You were very dubious, weren't you?
Yeah, I started YouTubing last year as a hobby. Everything shut down, and I started out with a silly voice effect. Yeah, the goat mask and the deep voice goat, and we dropped that. Stubbs didn't love it. And my one buddy that I'd play online with, he's like, "You got to knock that shit off." so yeah, we made the change. It's been fun. It's been a good hobby.
No, it's been for the best. It has. You're doing well. Hopefully, we get to 150 subscribers soon.
Yeah, by the end of this show.
Hopefully, yeah. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on. It's been good. It has.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks.
And VJ, thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. Much appreciated, Stubbson.
Where can people find you? I know you don't like that bit.
Actually, on Friday, I forgot what it is. I'm doing something with the indie gamer.
That'd be good.
He's got a show on and needs someone to make the tea and mop up the floor, so I said I'd help him out.
You're more than that. You were quite good in that Team Cherry interview. You were put some very good questions in. You're a valid member of the panel there.
Oh no, I appreciate that, Stubbs. I just wanted to say, if there is any sort of winter vegetable waving competition, Tushi would win it.
Yeah.
And Take Two's mantra is they believe in generations, release the same game across several generations of new console platforms. But I don't blame him. I think if you've invested that sort of money and taken that sort of a huge risk, then you've got to milk it for everything that you possibly can. So it was just a bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke. Sorry.
Well, it's working for them, and
Oh, and by the way, I think I just had a quick look. Kiwami, Yakuza Kiwami's $5, and number 2's $7 on the PlayStation Store.
PlayStation Store. Okay,
it's pretty cheap.
That's a bargain. That is.
Yeah,
it's an E3
Orange
Indie Gamers doing it. E3 predictions. E3 predictions special on Friday.
My predictions are that Mr. Tushi.
You can't ask for Hollow Knight now because they've confirmed they're not at E3. So there you go, in there.
Yeah, actually, my prediction is that post June, that Mr. Tucci will buy about 172 games by the end of the year. That's my E3 prediction.
I bought one in 2 months. You know.
Wow.
Well, that wounded you, though, VJ.
I'm 171 out at the moment.
Don't worry, he's going to pick up for lost time. You just wait.
Yeah, I know. He's going to say, I've had a summer bonus, didn't go to the company barbecue, so I'm going to buy
the problem is, VJ, now he's not buying games, he's got to get a forklift round to lift his wallet up.
Nah.
Yes.
I'm moving house and I've got to pay a massive fucking deposit next week.
To be on, with all jokes aside, I think if you're doing that, it's one of the best decisions you'll ever make.
Yeah.
VJ is predicting that Stubbs will complete Hollow Knight before E3. That's not going to happen. 2045, yeah, it might be done before then.
I think the indie game is being a bit too high level prediction there. I think if he should just pull it back to Stubbs Gaming will beat the Mossberger boss before E3. That's probably more likely.
Oh, Stubbs, I've got a question for you.
What's that?
One's got to go: Gears or Yakuza?
Oh,
Yakuza. I asked him this. He wouldn't answer me.
Have you fallen off your chair by any chance?
Screenshot.
I'll be honest, the way I feel at the minute, I'd say Gears.
Where's the
I won't be back on next week.
It's a hard one.
It's the final episode of Midweek Gaming.
Yeah, 33. But no, it's disappointing news about Silksong not being at E3, VJ, but you know.
Yeah, it is, and I don't think it was handled particularly well, but that doesn't mean it won't appear at Gamescom. It won't be announced. And the thing is, they will probably be in a better position to know in terms of what Nintendo is announcing. And there could be so many reasons at play here. It's difficult to judge. Or perhaps, after they finished Hollow Knight, they took a year off and they only came back to actually producing the game much later on. Silksong. I don't know. It's all suppositional guesswork at the moment. But
I'm sure Silksong. I'm sure, even though it is an E3 prediction show, I know for a fact. I'm guessing the news will be mentioned on the show on Friday. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be a good show. It's always a good show. So if you like indie games, people, please check it out. It's always a good show. I believe it'll be 8 p.m. UK time, which is the usual time, I think. But yes, thank you for coming on, Animated Evil, as always.
Oh no, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure tonight. Enjoyed it. Great to meet Goat Force. Thanks for coming on, sir. Of course, the rest of you guys, thanks.
Absolutely.
Where can you find me? I think to make my outro a little shorter, hit me up on Twitter, animated_evil. You can find out where I am on there. Mainly I'm on a Wednesday with Midweek Gaming with Stubbs and the gang, and you will find me over at 4GQTV on various evenings. But yeah, if you want to know anything, find me on Twitter.
Short and
follow, say hello. Yeah,
thanks for coming on.
Otherwise, it gets a little bit too long, doesn't it?
Yeah. So just to clarify, everyone, the Indie Games show, a E3 prediction show, will be this coming Friday at 9 p.m. UK time. So please check it out. Have a great panel with VJ, and I'm sure there'll be a couple of others on there as well. Thanks, Cerebral Paul, for coming on.
Oh yeah, always fun, always exciting, always glad to be here. Let's see. Oh, and Goat, just so you know, that little project we started working on in December, I will probably hit you back up again. And once I get moved to Florida, when things are a little more stable and I'm in a better situation.
Anytime, buddy. I'm always happy to help.
So yeah, because this was not a good situation in many, many ways. So.
Yep, understood. Anytime.
Yep. And And then you, of course, you can find me at Cerebral Paul 1 on Twitter, Cerebral Paul 921 on Xbox. You can now find me on YouTube. If you do a search for Cerebral Paul, I should actually come up because I have my vanity URL. And let's see what else I'm leaving out. Twitch is Cerebral Paul. You can find me here on every Wednesday. Tuesdays I usually gate crash Retro Renegades, being one of the more retro of the retros. And let's see, I think that's about it right now because the Flemish Experience, he's on a break, so we will be back at some point. I plan on doing some extensive streaming all during E3 while I'm watching E3. I will be on stream, either on my own stream or if others will have me, I will join them as well. And just kind of going along with the days as we see what we see.
Yeah, it's been good to have you on, Paul, again. I'm looking at doing something, but it's a bit hard when no dates and times, etc., haven't been announced or anything. No, my luck, they'll all be like, in the early hours. I won't be streaming it anyway, but I'd like to do a little show between. It'd be nice. It would be.
I think.
But thanks for coming on, Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, be good. We'll have to see what. But I was looking at. What was I looking at? Jeff Keighley, Summerfest. He seems to have got more people on board than E3. His big list is a lot bigger than E3's list, which is exciting.
Nice.
It is. But thanks for coming on, Mr. Tucci, as always.
Hello. Thanks for having me on again. It's been a good show. Even though I didn't have much to talk about on the Japanese stuff and the roguelike. I felt like I'm coming here with getting a clue what to talk about.
Well, no, you talk more than you used to. There used to be a point where you never used to say much at all.
Yeah, sometimes it was when we had too many people on, you can't get a freaking.
Yeah, I think it was. I think we've got the right balance now.
Yeah,
I think.
it's fine.
Because I remember some shows you had to fight to get your point across.
And you think, and then you think to yourself, "Oh, what I was going to say is like 2 topics ago now. I can't get a word in." See if you have fuck it, I'll just keep quiet.
I do that sometimes. Even here, sometimes it's like I have stuff to say, but then they fly past it. I'm like, well, if I want to go back to like what we were talking about 40 minutes ago, so I just kind of.
So, what games are you doing this weekend, Mr. Tucci? Are you doing any games? Or
Community game night?
Yeah.
Do you mean?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Sorry.
That's your,
Miles away.
You're thinking it and animated.
Yeah, we're playing.
You don't have to mention it if you don't want to.
No, well, on Friday we're playing GTA 5. Going to do some stupid races and some wild stuff. Maybe a hot tub party again. Have a big fight in there again, nude.
That looked weird. That photo. Oh, I don't know.
And on Saturday we're playing Descenders, which I've only ever had a quick 10-minute go on that before. Never really played it.
What are you?
And then we're going on Titanfall 2, which will carry on from 11 o'clock UK all the way till probably 4 or 5 in the morning because Noof's carrying over with the same game, so we're doing pretty much one game through the night.
Basically they're gonna pass the baton. Yours is gonna end with Titanfall 2. He's gonna start with Titanfall 2. So.
Yeah.
120 frames per second, baby.
Jammy bastard. Is it crossplay that?
Don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't believe so.
No.
I would have played on PC then if I could. Looks like I'll be playing at 60 then.
Yeah. Indeed, thanks for all the links, man. You're doing a lot of work over there.
It is.
Yeah, thank you, Indy, for all the moderator work, dropping the links.
I am a lazy man. I'm not doing it.
But anyway, back to me outro. You can find me anywhere as Mr. Tushy. That's it. Short and sweet.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, guys, and thanks to the chat. Thanks, Indie Gamer, Pyro MD. Someone's changed the name. I'm not sure who. That's confused me a bit. I'll work it out in a bit. I will. Indie. Thanks, Goat Force, coming on. Infinite.
Matt.
Thank you.
Matt. Yes, that's it. Masuku. Who else we had?
What?
Fast
Mav changed his name again? No.
No, Matt, not Matt.
Delightly loud.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep up. Nukem, animated. Who else? Oh, I can't keep up with the chat, but thanks to everyone that's been in tonight. It's been a great show, and we will see you next Wednesday. See you
People
later.
Santa like sausages.
Thank you, guys. Much love.